Hi guys, I'm Karis K. Wilson. Welcome back to my channel. If you're an ambitious undergraduate student, graduate student, or young professional, then you are in the right place. In today's video, I'll talk about the 5 most common mistakes that students make when choosing a major when they're going into undergrad. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So tip number 1 is money. Please, please, please do not go to a school just because it's cheaper or because it's in-state or because someone told you that, any school will do. That is a common misconception that I hear from students, that if you don't or you can't, quote unquote, afford to go to a school, that you want to just go to the cheapest school possible, or you just go to any school and that any school will do. This is a huge misconception surrounding just the college selection process and the money that it takes to go to college and successfully complete a 4-year degree. And so you want to keep this in mind when you're approaching the college selection process. And I'll just say that one thing that might be helpful for you to think about when you are going through this process in particular, which is selecting a university and a college and considering financials, you want to think about you pay for what you get. And so while I understand college is expensive, again, there are many conversations that can be had around how to determine how much money you want to pay for college and the means or the ways that you want to go about paying for that college or to attend that educational institution. These reasons that I've listed here in this tip number 1 are not reasons that I think you should allow to deter you from pursuing your college degree, or should be contributing factors that are high on your list of reasons you should or should not go to a certain college. So that is tip number 1. If you'd like a video dedicated specifically to paying for college and how to decide what that process should look like this video and leave a comment in the comment section below. So tip number 2 is friends. Please do not go to a college because your friend is going there. Now, I know people commonly say this. You hear people say all the time, don't go to a school just because your friend goes there. But I really want you to stop and think. If a friend comes to you and they say, I'm going to such and such school, no matter how prestigious the program, does that align with anything that you consider part of your goals? Is that going to help you compete? Is going to that program going to help you compete against other college students around the country when you graduate? Is going to that university going to help you secure the skills and the other necessary skills and abilities that you need to go out and to perform your job well, and to get to, if it's the financial level that you want to, then so be it, the financial level or income that you desire. And so you want to stop and really think about this. Think about if you're at this point, if you're watching this video and you're not new to the channel, then I've talked about gap years and if you should take gap years. I've talked about how to pick a major and my guide for that. I've even talked about graduate school and how to decide if you want to go straight from undergrad to graduate school. So when you think about those videos and all the intentionality that goes into those processes that we talked about in those videos, then you know that with this particular process, and if you're at this point, if you've gotten beyond kind of all those other things in those videos, or you're at a certain pivotal point in selecting a college or a university or a program to attend, you can't let friends be what deters you or what encourages you to go to a certain school or program. Now, if they mention a school or program, sure, you're intentional. You practice all of these things to make the best decision for you. And so maybe that school should go on the list based off a conversation that you have with a friend, or maybe just in general, you're curious to know more about the program. That is totally fine. That is okay. But just to go because, someone said, hey, this school's amazing, I'm going here, or because, your friend's great, and you think that they make good decisions when it comes to picking whatever it might be with regard to life, you always want to make sure that you kind of bring it back and center yourself and think about, how does that equate to me accomplishing my goals? Is this an intentional decision that I'm making with regard to applying to the school and then later going to the school to build my educational foundation and my career as a whole? So that is tip number 2. Also, one other thing about tip number 2, ask your friend questions about why they chose that school. That can be largely a really good indicator of how intentional they were with the process. Now, this is not to come down on people or to make people feel bad. I'm not even saying or suggesting that you should announce that you're doing this, but it's more so because you're coming from a very intentional standpoint and you want to set yourself up for the best opportunities possible should they come. And so you just really want to, again, if you're going to have a conversation about schools, have a conversation that, one, helps you understand and learn more about what your friend is thinking and why they're choosing the school they're choosing. But also, you might encourage your friend to think about why they're making this decision. Your friend might discover through the conversations and the questions that you're asking that maybe this isn't the best school for me, or might that conversation you're having with your friend might encourage conversation between your friend and their family members about why it is they're choosing to go this path. And so a lot of great things can come out of conversations and cohesion and synergy and collaborative conversations and efforts to just come together and have a conversation. But you want to make sure that you're asking the right questions, again, if you're considering going to a program that your friend is going to, or again, if you're considering adding it to your list. Ask these questions, they're really important. Okay, so the third most common reason that I hear students choose undergraduate programs is because of the athletic team. This cannot be a reason that you decide to go to a particular school or program. You can't afford to go to a school and attend a program and spend 4 of your precious years and time at a program simply because the athletic team is great. That's wonderful. Unless you're on the team or you're an athletic scholarship recipient at that university, this just can't be a factor with determining what school you want to go to, unless you've done your research on the program and they have what is necessary, what is important, what is needed with regard to networking, with regard to majors, with regard to ability to position you in a way that makes you successful within your career. This can't be a factor. You have to think also, something that I just kind of thought about kind of here in the moment is just those athletes, if you think about them, like for example, a lot of people know, and as you can tell in the background, I went to the University of Kentucky. And so while their basketball team is wonderful, I mean, they have a fantastic program, they have a track record and a history of producing phenomenal athletes that perform at the highest levels, not only in college and in collegiate sports, but also once they get into the NBA. That has no really effect on me. Maybe because of the popularity of the program, that might get some attention and conversation going, but within the grand scheme of things with regard to my education and career, I chose the University of Kentucky because of what the program that I was going into offered. I chose it because of the networking ability. I chose the program because I thought that they provided the support with regard to faculty, with regard to the educational institution overall, with regard to scholarship money. There were a lot of things that went into my decisions when I went on my college visit to, University of Florida and Clemson and Ohio State University and Mississippi State and Ole Miss and Duke. I mean, my parents, I'm very grateful for them. They took me on a very comprehensive college shopping trip all over the kind of, East and in the South and the Southeast. And when I'm making decisions, I'm looking at all these different factors and I'm determining whether or not programs are a fit for me. If the athletic team is good, sure. I loved being at Kentucky and I loved the sports and athletics and the energy and everything that came with that. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that while you are attending the university and your decisions are aligning with your end kind of goal and result. So I just want to put that out there because I know there are a lot of amazing sports teams, and athletics are a huge part of our college experience. And as I think that they should be, and I think that that's okay. But I do think that, you're making decisions and you're going to spend 4 short years when you think about the grand scheme of things over a long period of time in life. So you do want to set yourself up for the best opportunities and path forward possible. So that's another common mistake. And that's mistake number 3 that I see some students make. Okay, so common mistake number 4, I was kind of surprised about when I kind of went through all of my notes and experience and did my research, and just when I thought about everything with regard to conversations I've had with students, was common mistake number 4 was the word dorms and living space and communal space. Now, as you guys know, I'm a doctoral student, and so I'm in my 3rd year, and I've read quite a bit of literature on just the impact that various things have on our ability to be successful. And I know communal space and quality of life and living in our surroundings and our environments are extremely important. So I don't want anyone to mistake what I'm saying for saying that, these different aspects and areas don't affect quality of life. I am saying that a lot of times universities are always making improvements to their campuses and to their communities and building new dorms that are very expensive. But they're building dorms to serve students' needs and wants and desires. If a conversation wants to be had about money, that could be one of them. And that, you have various different options about where you choose to live with regard to the university. But a lot of times, students will choose a university because the dorms look really, really great and they're pretty and they offer these amazing options that, quite frankly, cater to the needs of the students, which is fine if you can afford to stay in those dorms, but more so if it fits your major, right? If that university fits your major and that university fits kind of, again, what your goals are. Remember, we're all kind of going back to major. We're going back to intentionality. We're going back to why you're attending college. What is your end goal? And so, again, the reason that we're talking about these things in this video, and it's not just kind of in a blanket statement, money, friends, and athletics and dorms, those should be the reasons that you just don't allow to affect your decision. We're not just saying that in a blanket statement. We're talking about it. We're discussing it. We're adding context and nuance to the conversation. So dorms, a lot like athletics in certain ways. Yes, you want to stay in a place that is decent. You don't want to stay in a place that, is deplorable or that is falling apart or that's old. I get it. But just because the dorms look great and they look nice, that shouldn't necessarily be a factor or reason that you choose to go to that school maybe versus another school, unless the schools are equal on the playing field. They both give you what you want. You can't see any one reason that any school leans more heavy on one side to being better versus the other. And dorms is the last deciding factor for you, maybe for that school. Or it's dorms and one other thing that is not maybe as significant of an issue. In those situations, sure, of course, go for it if everything else lines up. But when thinking about your major, if one school is much better for where you're trying to get to, but this other school has dorms and it doesn't quite meet the networking requirement, the alumni, the kind of industry specifications and things that you need, then that might be something that you want to seriously consider not having be a part of the decision-making process when you're choosing a university. So common mistake number 5 is fear and family. So I know a lot of students will decide not to go to a school that is far from home or not to go to a school that's out of state because of either fear of being far away from home, fear of themselves, or fear that their family has for them being far away from home, or just because of the kind of unsure, path that you're going to be going on, where there is a lot of unknown. And so I think that new journeys, new experiences are a part of life. And I think as soon as you embrace that, it can be a beautiful thing. It's wonderful. You want to grow, you want to flourish, you want to have adventures and see new things. And while I think every decision should be factored in, every different part of your specific journey and kind of what you've been through and what you need should be factored into the decision-making process, as I've kind of talked about with all of the other tips in this video. I do think that you don't want to stifle your growth, your opportunities to meet new people, to see new places, to have different experiences, to learn how people think in other parts of the country. I think it's all really important to you becoming who you're supposed to be and you finding your place in this world and how you will impact the world. And how you will impact just other individuals' lives, or how maybe your life will be impacted. And so I would just hate to see, and I do hate to see students or even some of my own peers miss out on a really great experience because of that fear to leave home, or just kind of not necessarily having all of the knowledge or language to kind of ask maybe some of the questions that they needed answered to make a decision that potentially would have sent them in a different direction or to another university. And so I think there's a lot of beauty and just great things that come from going and kind of figuring out what life is apart from family. And so do you just go off to a school, halfway across the country because I said that in this video? Or no, that's not what I'm saying. Or just because I said that, you shouldn't fear going to a different place or going far from home. No, that's not the reason. Or do you go far from home just because, I just always want to get away from my family and I want to just be done with them? No, you're still making a very, again, intentional decision about what's best for you. You're considering all these different factors. But again, that's why I'm giving you this list, so you can approach this process of selecting with intentionality, with everything that you need to make the appropriate decision for you as an individual. So next week, I talk about how to decide what college or what school you should go to. So how you make that decision, what things that you need to be considering to pick a specific program. And then after that, the week following next week, I talk about how to decide which major is best for you when going to graduate school. So how to decide which major is best for you when going to graduate school. If you enjoyed the content in this video and you want to see more content like this, check out my education playlist and also hit the subscribe and the like button. See you in the next video. Bye, guys. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Karis K YouTube channel. If you're interested in receiving more content and information about how to navigate your undergraduate experience, your graduate experience, or your experience as a young professional, then go ahead and hit the subscription button and the notification bell. If you're also interested in receiving collegiate news updates or breaking news, then also go ahead and hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell. See you in the next video. Bye guys.